Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness, how about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to the Smash Factor Week 4 of the 2021-2022 PGA season. The CJ Cup, a limited field event, no cut this week. First, as always, you can join us. Use the code GREEN25 for 25% off any package. Includes a 7-day free trial. Great time to join. All sports are hot right now. We had a great weekend, great Monday night last night. Took third in the 222, had a chance at the Millie. It was a good night. I was a little bit of that overtime was a little bit of a sweat, a little bit of stressful, but it all worked out. Hit the monkey knife fight picks again. I will have those tomorrow for PGA. We've hit 4 in a row now. Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football, and then I had a college football player prop picks as well that hit. Good time to join Monkey Knife Fight. Use the code GUP, G-U-P-S. The link is in the audio description. Get up to $100 match when you deposit with code GUPS. So you put 20 in, you get 20. Dollar for dollar match. Great time to join. I've been fire with those picks. Been a lot of free money given out there. You get a free $100, so we can get rolling. I will have PGA tomorrow, then NFL and college on coin flip on Thursday. Last week for me, man, it was close. I lost just a little bit. Had some good sweat, even though some contest was sub 1% on 6 of 6. Had a lot of M and Wolf. Obviously, I hit the M ticket at 33-1. Wolf finished second. Had an outright on him as well. Had Wise, Shank, Gooch. Willie Z hurt me. I had a lot of him. And then the -4 hurt. But, there was 20 guys at -4, so everybody can probably say the -4 hurt. But I had 9 guys in my player pool at -4. So that was a little bit of a brutal blow. If could have got half those in to the cut line, could have been a bigger week. Always like no cut events. I'm looking forward to this week. Got a big field, big names. Should be a fun one. Rate and review us on iTunes. When I do big giveaways, that is one place I always go. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Click the video or click the like on the video right now when you're watching it, and then leave us a comment who you want to fade in the 9K range this week. I will, if you get this in early, I'm going to give the winners over the last couple weeks comments out on Cup with Gup today. So go give us a comment. Tell me who you want to fade in the 9K range, and that'll get you into the drawing that I do every once in a while to give away Million Maker tickets, GC gear, among other stuff. Course preview, as always, you can go check out Kenny Kim's article on the website, gupscorner.com. He gives us free. It's behind the paywall, but he updated information. His favorite picks and plays he updates on Wednesday. You can go check out his podcast as well. He goes into great depth. We are at a new course for the PGA Tour, the Summit Club in Las Vegas. Last year, this was played at Shadow Creek. Kokrak won. Then the previous 3 years, it was obviously played where it's supposed to be played at Nine Bridges. Over in Korea. So hopefully get back there next year. I enjoyed watching that coverage, especially the different time zones, stuff like that. But this should be a pretty fun one as well. A lot of similarities to last week's course, so you can take some of that off of it. So this is the 5th year for this event. Only 4 previous years. We had Kokrak, JT, Brooks, and JT win. Not much you can probably take from that, but worth noting. Par 72, 7,400. We'll play a lot less than that with the altitude and stuff. Big grass greens, Fazio design. He did Shadow Creek as well, so you can look at a little bit last year. results if you want to. Not a lot of water in play, of course. The desert waste areas can cause issues if you get offline, but outside of that, not a lot of trouble here. Should be a birdie fest. Now we got an extra par 5. All of par 5s are reachable. Looks like there could be a possible of 2 or 3 drivable par 4s, depending on how they set it up. The weather looks great, perfect, sunny, light winds, no rain right now. I think we'll see, much like last week, 20 under or better win. As I said, this is a no-cut event. Everybody plays 4 rounds unless they withdraw. As far as for me, I'm looking at great drives, just because I think, just from looking at the overfly overview and stuff like that, the longer the better looks to be here, especially if you're looking at to get good eagle attempts on the par 5s, and then some of these par 4s you can drive, right? So bring that in. Strokes gained, ball striking, good approach, par 5 DK scoring, birdie or better, then opportunities inside 18 feet. On the course fit, I picked about 6 or 8 courses. I think about 6 that I found to mix into that model, just because we don't have any history at this one, of course. One of them was Shadow Creek, so when you're looking at my rankings, you'll know that's where those are made up from. And obviously, they're not from this course. Salary count or salary ranges: 10K, we have 6 guys; 9K, we have 10 guys; 8K, we have 10 guys; 7K, 15 guys; 6K, 34 guys. That's 78 total. We will not be having any Monday queue or anything like that, so the field is locked unless someone withdraws. We'll update that if that does happen. Don't anticipate any of that, but you never know. We've had it happen before, especially with potential COVID stuff. Although I don't think they're really announcing it as COVID anymore. They just say the guy withdrew. Same format as always for me. It's a little harder with such a small field, and there's probably 6 or 8 of these guys that we may not even look at. But I still do the Sweet 16, my 3 favorite plays, and Bubble Boy, Fade of the Week, Sleeper of the Week, Gut Feel plays, betting top 5 that pop in 2 long shots provided by Monkey Knife Fight. And then we'll get out of here. I'll be back this afternoon with Cup with Gup, and then back tomorrow with the final thoughts after going through the deep dive and such. 9K and above, I'm going to start with Sungjae. I'm going to go back to him. Talked about it last week. I said when he spikes, and he's playing well. We bet him. He won. Burns was decently owned last week. After his win, Sungjae loves to play golf, and we know he wants to get as much as he can now. If he has to wind up serving, hopefully he can get a medal at the next Olympics, so he doesn't have to do that. But I mean, it's very similar to last week. Bent grass greens being probably the only difference. I don't see why he couldn't do well again. He's hitting the ball great. Ball striking's really good. Irons are great. Par 5 DK scoring's 4. He's 4th in the field. 6th overall, 9,500. So not too much of a price jump. And a lot has to do with the field, obviously. But I'm going to keep him going. Ride the form. My next is going to be Burns. Same situation there. He's 10th in bent putting. Didn't end well last week, but still hitting the ball good. Coming in some of the best form. An 18th, a 1st, and a 14th. He's number 1 in par 5 DK scoring and number 1 in birdie or better. 7th in ball striking. So I know it's hard to keep it going that well, but a no-cut event, some good money up there, 9,800. I'll just keep riding the form and go back to him this week. Next one we haven't seen in a while, Cam Smith. Not a guy I normally play a lot of. In general, I don't think he's going to be too owned, and that's one of the strategies this week is when you have such a small field is trying to gain some leverage. It doesn't really matter because it's been different courses, but at the CJ Cup the 4 years, you got a 3rd, a 7th, and a 3rd over at 9 Bridges. Then last year you got an 11th. So, Shadow does have some similarities. So, it's a Fazio design as well. So I do look at that. In 11th last year, we haven't seen him since the Tour Championship, so a little bit of concern there. But 9,200, I think he'll be one of the lower owned, less talked about because he hasn't been around. And I like him at that price tag. My Bubble Boy is DJ. 11-3, highest priced, played phenomenal at the Ryder Cup. I really, the only reason why I bubble boy is just going to say, okay, when he spikes, he's doing well, and he played phenomenal at the Ryder Cup. Typically he does get good ownership. Hasn't been very high owned as of late, so I'm wanting to see, are people going to ride that high of the Ryder Cup? When you look at statistical stuff, he's still going to have not as good because he kind of was in a lull there for a while, but he can come out and do just as well as anybody for sure. His ceiling's up there. Rahm's not in the field, so I think he's clearly the best, talent here. There's Rory and JT, all those guys are great, but if DJ's on, it's hard to beat him, and I'm gonna hope he's gets that fire that he had from the Ryder Cup and rolls in here and does well. But I don't know if I want to play a chalky one. I don't think anybody will be real chalky. It'll be kind of spread out, less guys, so people will be higher owned in general, especially 6K range than we're used to. But that's typical in a limited field event. 8K range. Kokrak, 8,500. I'll go back there. Burned me last week. I think he's one of the ones that missed at -4. Had plenty of him. He's third in bent putting. He won at Shadow last year. Everything seems to line right back up. I'll go back for the bounce back week at 8,500. Third in stats for me overall. Fourth in grade drive. Second in birdie or better, or 12th in birdie or better, sorry. 19th opportunities inside 18 feet. So he's going to give himself plenty of looks. If he can get the putter going like he did last year, he can certainly win this thing. So 8,500, I'll go to Kokrak. Next, Adam Scott. I got a little of him last week because I thought he was going to be popular, and he really turned out not to be that popular. 35th, nothing too great. He's putting really good. He's 9th in the bent putting model for me. Stats, he really looks pretty solid all across the board. 17th, 24th, 16th. 20th, his worst stats are the par 5 and the birdie or better. The scoring, so it's a little concern there, but 8,100, he can get hot if he can dry the ball. And off the tee's not as, it's important on the length, but spraying isn't going to be as bad of a deal here. So if he can just, and his great drives, he's 17th, which takes that length and accuracy in. So I think he can get going this week. I don't know if he'll be more popular. I doubt it. He didn't, 35th was okay last week, but nothing too crazy. So at 8,100, I'll go back to Scott this week. Next, Harris English. Hopefully he's kind of settled in from the Ryder Cup tour and going on game day and all that stuff. Horrible putting week last week. Missed the cut. I'll go to the bounce back there. I think that'll correct itself. He finished 10th last year at Shadow, so I like that. He's 22nd overall in my model, 6th in par 5 DK, and 10th in birdie or better, though. So I really like those numbers. Approach can be off and on with him, but, ball striking overall, he's still top 25. So got to think the putter will get, a little bit fixed this week. He's 31st in bent, so not horrible, about mid-pack in this field. 8,900, a little priced up. So I think he may be a good leverage as well at that price. I think people may pass on him after getting burned last week, as he was popular. Terrell Hatton is my bubble boy. I like him a lot. I plan on probably playing him, especially MME. The only concern there is just, he's hadn't been over here in a while. So his first time playing this season. Again, another great CJ Cup guy, even though the 9 bridges probably doesn't correlate too much, but a 14th, a 6th. But last year he got 3rd at Shadow, so I do like that. 8,400 is a good price for him. Probably a little riskier, just with, shaking off the rust type stuff, but, I don't mind him at all. I don't think he played very well at the Ryder Cup. I can't remember. He may got a point or point and a half. Obviously, not many people got that many points, but either way, I still like him this week, and I don't think he'll be too popular around that price. 8K range is going to be spread out in my opinion. I think it's be a popular range in general. In the 9K, I think people may just in looking at it may go a little balanced. Maybe pick one of the up top and then drop, or just fade it all together. I mean, Burns, Brooks is there, Answer's there, Hovland's going to be popular, Scheffler, maybe bounce like Matsu. Those are all good 9K players, and there's plenty of solid 8K players that you can mix and match there and keep the thing kind of balanced if you want to fade the top this week. 7K range for me, I'm going to start with Neiman. Struggled out the gates last week, but then settled in, played well. Only a 40th finish, but I like how he finished the tournament. He got a 6 at the Shadow Creek last year, 12th and a 36 at Nine Bridges the 2 years before. Stat-wise, he is 9th overall for me. Par 5 DK scoring is probably my only concern. He's 43rd in the field, but outside of that, pretty solid across the board. Really cheap price at $7,400. No cut event. I'll take some Neiman, almost every time there. Next will be Hoffman. I passed on him last week. He did well. I think he had one or two. One day he just fell off the, I think he shot horrible compared to the field. Everybody's going low there, right? 44th. I don't know if that'll get people off of him because of the finish, but I'll go back there. I passed last week on him, but I think I'll go there at 7,200. No, he's been playing pretty good. He was playing good going into last week, which is why he was popular. And that price I really like this week at $7,200. Next up, I'll go back to Wise. Had plenty of him last week. He was flirting around the top almost every day. Finished 8th. Did not play Shadow last year. Been playing really good in general. And 7,400 is pretty good price for a guy that's been playing so well. If he keeps the putter going. That's his biggest weakness. 56 in this field, though, which is, towards the bottom. There's only 78 guys. But, birdie or better, he's 3rd. Par 5 DK, 34th. Good price for him. If he gets hot, he can get there. Last week he was, really good, steady across the board, so I like that as well. Bubble Boy is Gooch. Had plenty of them last week. He had a really strong finish, finishing 11th. 5th at Shadow Creek last year, so I like that. He's 43rd in stats, but his stats are up and down at times. If you go deep dive, look at him. I do like he's 14th in par 5 DK scoring. I love the no-cut event for him. He is a guy that can kind of go up and down at times. One bad day, he missed the cut. He's done that, but here he gets the 4 days, guaranteed paycheck. Young guy. I've talked about him a lot reminds me of where Burns was, before his big year last year. So, I'm going to go there again for sure. Only reason why the Bubble Boy is just maybe if he gets chalked up again at that price. But really, he's going to be in there. I had to have 4. He's going to be in the player pool. 6K range, Vegas, no pun intended with his name. Really good on the stat model. He's number 1, actually. And the stuff I was looking at, 3rd great drives, 5th ball striking, 12th in par 5 DK, 6th birdie or better. Really like that. Probably the only thing is we hadn't seen him much, so a little bit of worry there. But $6,300, no cut event. He can score. He can get up there and get on those eagles as well. Great price for him. Really like that play this week. Hudson Swafford, the Stone Cold Men, 6,000. Played him last week. Not horrible, 56th. So he made the cut, which was a tough cut to make, as we saw. Stat-wise, he's 11th. 11th in approach, 23rd in par 5 DK, 23rd in birdie or better. 14th opportunities inside 18 feet. So I like all that. I like that he made the cut last week after 2 back-to-back miscuts. And that price is just great this week, especially if you want to get, try to jam maybe a, Shoffley and Morikawa or DJ and, Hovland or something like that. That can make that work. Be a little bit unique this week for sure. Next is Cam Davis. You guys know my rule with him. Anytime we have a no cut, absolutely in play. Love the price, $6,400. A 27th last week. We had plenty of them. I will have a bet on him, 125-1. So you can take that for a free bet of the week. I just like him a lot in general. And when it's a no cut event, I love him because he can just score like no other. I mean, he can shoot a even round and have 7 birdies in it. I mean, he has some big holes at times, so these kind of events I really love for him. Poulter is my Bubble Boy, 6,900. Kind of not as good of a showing at the Ryder as you would expect from him. Missed the cut last week. He did stay over, though. He finished great at Shadow, which, was a 12th. He also has played the CJ Cup at Nine Bridges well, a 15th, a 10th, and a 16th. Seems like a lot of those guys that have played well or Nine Bridges did play well at Shadow last year. No real correlation, but I do like the Shadow deal. So 12th there, coming back off of a miscut. Not going to pop out any kind of stat model, but a little worried just because of that. That's why he's the bubble boy. But 6,900, he's going to be in play for me for sure. Fade of the week, in events like this, it's hard to just call a true fade because, if you do 100 plus lineups, you almost get a little bit of everybody. You certainly want to cut down your pool some just to be different. But this one was tough because I wanted to go back to Usti after that killed me last week. I think he'll be talked up a lot. Spieth was another one I was interested to see. I like him if he's not popular. He tends to get really popular at times. So I don't know if he will this week at 10-3. So I didn't want to call him a fade. We hadn't seen him since Tour Championship either. Obviously at the Ryder Cup we saw him. Usti did finish 48th last year at Shadow, which, again, that's not great. So at 9,300, I think people are going to go. He just keeps feeding people, right? He keeps returning the value. So I think they'll go there. And in an event where I got to try to get different, I'll be light on him or fade as well. The other two that I kind of was thinking we'll talk about was McNeely, and McNeely holds the course record. He's a member there, and Morikawa is a member there. So interested to see how those two get talked up in the week. Being members there, obviously McNeely holds the course record, so I like McNeely, but I could see him getting really popular at 7,300 this week. And in this type of event, you want to try to be different. Watching those two ownerships, Morikawa hadn't really been playing great, so I don't mind him, hopping off him if people are going to be there. Did have a good run with DJ in the Ryder Cup, but I'm not putting a whole lot into that. Before that, he was struggling, so. But being their home course and all that can go both ways, right? Webb does well but sometimes they don't do well necessarily because it's all set up different. They have stuff they're not used to. Greens will be different. Pin placements will be different, stuff like that. But just something to note. My sleeper of the week is going to be Higgs. I like Higgs a lot, just in general. I mean, I think he's a cool guy. I think his style does fit the no-cut event. 27th last week, so we had some of them last week. Returned that 21st at Shadow and at $6,100, and I love that price for him this week. So he is my sleeper of the week. I don't think he'll be too talked up. He's middling on when you look at statistical models, but I just like the way he plays, and you give him 4 rounds. I definitely like that at that price. Gut feel plays for me. Rory, I'm interested to see how the emotional Ryder Cup, does he come in firing or is he kind of sluggish? I don't know. That's the toss-up. I want to play him. I don't think he'll be too talked up, but because he's the cheapest in the 10K range, he may. So we'll see there. He's second in my overall model, but I do like him. Lowry is a guy that I like this week. Gut feel play number 2. 28th last year at Shadow. 8,300 is a good price. He was playing really well at the end of the year also. 17th in the statistical model, 8th in good approach, 20th in par 5 DK, 19th in birdie or better, 18th in opportunities, and 16th in ball striking. So top 20 in all those. I really like that a lot. Next is Matsu. I'll go back to him. Struggled on the weekend after making the cut. He really hurt one of my good. I had a lineup with Wise, Wolf, and M, and I needed Matsu and Glover to do well. And they both were horrible on Sunday. Glover, I don't know what he shot, like 8 overs at one point. I know he had a quad on a hole, so he had a rough Sunday. But Matsu I'll go back to. 67th, so nothing great last week. $9,400 though. 21st at Shadow, another guy that's played 9 bridges well, 3rd and 18th. He's been playing really well. Just struggled a little bit to get it going last week. I'll go back to him, maybe use that as a shake off the rust or something. Did make the cut, and it was a tough cut to make, so I don't mind going back to Matsu. And then HV3, Baby Swag week. I did confirm, text with him this morning. He is playing this week. His son, HV4, was born over the weekend, but he is going to play. I figured he would. I mean, I think this may be one of the first no-cut events he's gotten into. Guaranteed money. He's still young on tour, trying to get his, and just had a baby. So, I'm going to go tee it up if I'm guaranteed money for sure. An 11th and a 16th coming into this. Played really well at Sanderson Farms. He's been working with new putting coach for a while. It's showing if you look at the rolling averages. So that aside, I really like everything else about his game. $7,300 and then Baby Swag week. So you got to go there. Probably toss a little bet on him as well. Looking like he's 70 or 80 to 1, depending on where you look. Speaking of betting, top 5 of the pop and 2 long shots provided by Monkey Knife Fight. Told you about the code up top, GUPS. Get a 100% match up to $100. I have been on fire with my picks. I will have the PGA ones out tomorrow. Last week was the first PGA I missed. This season, been doing well with those. NFL and college football has been great as well. Top 5 that stick out to me. It's a loaded top side of the board. I'll probably do some Quinellas on that end, but I like Cam Smith 33-1, Neiman 50, Gooch 66, HV3 70. And probably my favorite kind of lower would be Burns. I don't know if I'm going to get there at 25-1, but I do like him. See if he can get 2 wins out of 3 weeks. My 2 long shots I like are Vegas 125 and Davis, which I already told you 125 for sure going to be on the card. I'll have my outrights out a little bit later today and then full card posted tomorrow. Don't forget, Green 25, 25% off. Free trial for 7 days. So join us. You get the price locked in. If you don't like it in 7 days, cancel. You never get charged. You don't get charged at all if you cancel within the first 7 days. Our tools have been great. The GC Warrior Room is as strong as ever. A lot of good chatter going on in there amongst all the sports, NBA, MLB, UFC, NASCAR. NASCAR's been crushing. Obviously, NFL, college football, we just have the best. We're the best in the industry when you put it all together, in my opinion. Absolutely been crushing there. We get a Tuesday night college football showdown slate. So excited for that. That'll be fun stuff tonight. So come join now. Check out Bobby's article that's already up. I will have Cup with Cup out later. Be sure to leave the comment there. I'll be picking some winners out and giving away some Millie tickets on that this afternoon. And I'll be back tomorrow with my final thoughts on PGA as well. Have a blessed day, and I will talk to you later on today.